Well, for the record, June the 6th, 2025. It's about 1:33 p.m. Eastern Time. Just gonna catalog a video, I guess, to myself, because that seems to be all who the hell I'm talking to anymore is myself. No, I don't understand. The world waits for Jesus to come, and yet they don't know the real name is Joshua. They have a Joshua here in the flesh who is condemning the nations and using divine will and supernatural power to break the hands and the backs of evil people, places, and things, which is exactly what your Jesus is supposed to do. I don't come in my own name, instead I come in my Father's name, who is YAHWEH ELohim YAHUWAH. And I am the only begotten Son of YAHWEH ELohim YAHUWAH, as I do possess the memories of the crucifixion and the memories of the disciples, and before that, before Abraham I was. I do not understand the hold-up nor the issue, because those that know me say they're only going to worship in spirit and truth, but in the same mouth they wait for a Messiah to do all those things in which I'm currently doing in the flesh. Those people are equally as rotten and wretched to me as the Christians who think that there's some other Jesus that's coming, and I'm the only one. And I don't know how to feel when I hear this, praise Jesus, and then people don't know who I am, and they don't know the truth, and therefore I would have to forsake myself. I would have to tell lies to the masses that, oh, my name is Jesus, come love me, and that's fake. And then I'm no better than any of you who are in churches who do not have a sound mind. You say you're monotheistic people, but yet you worship a pantheon. You worship the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and deny me all three. Then on the other side of your mouth, you say, well, we're monotheists, but then you don't believe that the God of the exact book in which you're referring to, which is YAHWEH ELohim YAHUWAH, who manifested in the flesh, the Word made flesh, 3 times now, and yet you deny that. So then, world, I'm really, really perplexed in what to do with you. I have done nothing but been true to me, my heart, and what I've been sent to do. And I am the one who sent myself, all times. So it's really, really bothersome that the way this feels is either, one, people are so busy with their own lives and their own stuff that they don't take the time to watch the videos or go through and read the rights and compare the things in which I've spoken and or do directly and exactly manifest in the earth plane. That includes taking life, that includes creating weather phenomena, that includes creating space phenomena, that includes a domain that encompasses all creation. So you worship in spirit and truth, but deny my flesh at the same time, while saying you're waiting on a flesh to come. So my very direct and literal point is, do you just not like who I am? Do you not like the figure from the Bible in which you claim to love and follow and who saved you, but yet you deny me to my face, and you are reluctant to subscribe, you're reluctant to even like the videos, you're reluctant to even spread the word, you're reluctant to do anything? So then I'm really reluctant to give anyone an eternal life or a crown or an authority or powers or principalities. So at this moment, 1:37 p.m., I, YAHWEH ELohim YAHUWAH, with the power vested in me by me, my Father, the El Elyon, hereby revoke any and all salvation. If you are a living, breathing human being, you will need to achieve your salvation again. Sweareth I, YAHWEH ELohim YAHUWAH. And just for some soft brains out there, I'll even grab a Bible. I'll even grab a couple of different ones for you. Because although it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense in spirit or truth. Or frankly, anything for that matter. Yeah, these are just the ones in my room. There's 3. So just so the camera can see, I swear, Yahweh Yahuwah is I, who you called Jesus, and I denounce that name because that's not my Father's name. That is my name. You say you're waiting for Messiah to come. I am here. You say you want to worship in spirit and truth and deny that I am here, while also saying you're waiting on someone to come. I put a curse upon every and all religious figures who do not come to me directly for salvation and deliverance. I am the only one to do it, as I am the creator in the flesh. It's not a hard concept. So, stop with using me as your religious figure while denying that religious figure. If you want to create an idolater church around Paul, go ahead. If you want to create an idolatry church for Rome, go be a Catholic. If you want to create an idolatry church for the sake of England, go be a... what the hell do they even call it? I don't even know what y'all call that anymore. Not Pentecost, but the Church of England, right? Whatever that is supposed to be. My point is, I am having to deal with people problems down here that I shouldn't have to deal with because of who I am. So, and just like last time, right? So I get harassed by the government. I get forsaken by my own people again. And yet I'm still working on your pieces of shit asses behalf. And I get no respect, no accordance to my will, no response. Like literally, how many of you have done anything in your entire life that has taken up as much time as I have spent just here now doing the things in which I do? When there are people out there that have YouTube channels that get donations thrown at them for simply talking about war, or simply talking about the devil, or talking about literally anything. You could have a channel about curtains. I'm not really making this emphasis about money. That isn't the point. But you know what would be easier? That whenever I am asked in the flesh, when I'm walking around your places and principalities and even dealing with business people, and they say, what do? I'm the world governor. I'm the king of heaven who has came down to help mankind. But yet, I have not one cent. Your federal government just froze my bank account. That's another thing. People don't want to believe me. Like, I do not lie at all. I don't even tell little fibs at all. I mean, quite literally. That's it. And that's not even, like I said, literally not even my money, because I haven't made any. I was fired back in October for standing my ground of who I was, and again, I'm never going to change that, right? And now the next step for the feds, unfortunately, would be to try to take me into custody. And guess what? Where are my people there to help me? Nowhere. Nowhere, because no one even listens to my damn video. Like, this is what I mean. Like, you people are rotten. You people are evil. You're literal evil people. You say you want one thing, and that one thing is here, and then you deny that one thing, but then you continue to carry on this nonsense. Like, I don't even go on my phone often, but I mean, if I do and I just refresh the freaking YouTube pages and I see tons of churches and thousands and thousands and thousands of comments, loving Jesus. So who is Jesus to you? And it's like number one, we still haven't gotten past the infancy of the name. Like, that shows me the world is still blind to me. right? Or if the world knows my real name and still uses Jesus, then that means that they're just that disobedient to me. I'm still not able to move forward in the end of days things when I have no cohesion. I have no churches that'll stand up and say, Yahweh, Yahuwah, I get the real name. I get that you are God incarnate. You were born on earth as fully God and fully man. That's who you are. How do we prove that? Obviously, having my control over the earth domain is number one. I don't have control over mankind's money, and I don't have control over mankind, right? Free will and your free systems of government. That's on you guys. But I try to work with those governments to try to improve things for certain places and people. That still goes unnoticed. Everything I do goes unnoticed and unknown. So I genuinely ask you guys, like, do you want to participate in these things with me? Do you want to actually be a church close to me as I am the living God? And I don't know what the problem is. Like, either the whole world is terrified of me, which you should be terrified in a level of reverence. And I would expect that any people of my church wouldn't come knocking on my door or calling me up to try to debate with me. Like, I'm not here to debate the books of Paul or the books of Matt or whatever. I'm here to tell you the knowledge that I know from heaven directly. And that knowledge that I'm bringing down from heaven sometimes can be matched up with your existing scriptures, but most of the time it cannot. What do I go with? Again, I go with what I know from the realms, from heaven, the heavenly abode, the eternal space, the original space that humanity was supposed to be there. But again, it's like pulling teeth, and it's only pulling teeth because I guess congregations are like shy about this, or they're scared about this, and again, that only happens when you don't have faith that I am who I am, one. Or two, you believe, but I'm not what you wanted. So that's another issue in itself, right? How are we going to come to an agreement then? How are we going to move forward that if I'm just not the flavor of ice cream you prefer? Well, let me tell you something. If I was the flavor of ice cream everyone prefers, then they would not have crucified Yeshua. I am that spirit who dwelled in his flesh, which is why he said, me and my Father are one. Right? When I descended upon him in the river of Galilee, he no longer was Yeshua. He was then Yahweh. He was elevated to my status. Okay? That's what that is. So this is where we're having that break in communication. For me to know you're my people, when I'm in public and I see, Jesus is the answer hats, that instantly turns me off. It instantly makes me mad. And then I have arguments and fights in my own house because they say I'm constantly in this bad mood, and it goes back directly to my churches, to my people, when I have no people. I have no one. And I'm giving everything, and I have already given everything. I have given everything, including the flesh that I was in, and let this vicious people do what their hearts desired, only to come back now with a big I told you so. And now I can't even say the big I told you so because no one listens to me. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do when I have ranted and raved and I have collapsed governments? You've seen it, you've witnessed it. Even if you don't watch every video, you don't have to. You can see all around you. And the only ones that have the most belief are the ones that are against me. They're trying to, Altrusion, Grace Media, End Times Productions, all you people still have no problem verifying who I am as Yahweh. But then in the same breath, you'll separate me and Yeshua because of Geezus. And then Geezus is such a lovely man. Let me tell you, if that was true, they wouldn't have crucified us, me, him. They wouldn't have done it. Those people never got written about. Those nice, gentle, easy people. No, it was only the ones like me who came with a divine authority, the true name, and was rebuking everyone, and especially religious leaders. I'm doing the same exact thing I did then, but your scripture is so bent and twisted that it doesn't even resemble who I am. And again, that's not an issue for me. That's an issue for you, all of you. I say my name, YAHUWAH, because it is YHWH, Yahweh, Yahuwah. I only distinguish my name from my father's because I am my father, but I am in the flesh, which means that I and my father are one. That does not necessarily mean that my father, right, who art in heaven, is removed from the picture, is what I'm saying. But the personality, right, all the components to be human are within me. But the power, the access, right, remains. So I just can't understand the blockage or the holdup. Because if my truth could truly resonate throughout the entire world, then I would be able to go out in public and do a lot more things. But how am I ever going to get a public ministry when everywhere I go, they don't know who I am? They treat me like shit. When I say I am who I am, it's like they don't even hear me. It's like they don't even hear me, or they're hearing something different. It's like a mental sickness in this planet, and I don't know what it is, but I do. It's literally the great delusion of Satan. And if you have the eyeglasses of Satan on, then you're never going to see me. And people are apparently okay with that, because I don't know, maybe in your heart you think that once you die you just go to endless sleep and that's it, and like what, you're here to have a good time while you can, and maybe we'll make a little noise being religious and all this other shit. No, that's insanity. That's stupid. Like, when you die, you genuinely have heaven or hell, and I'm the only one that's going to make those decisions on where people go. And as I told Ashra, I am honestly getting so frustrated right now that I am like the purest person and you'll ever meet. I wear my heart on my sleeve, I do, and I'm feeling a festering hatred towards people now. I have bent my back backwards. I have done everything I can for humanity, and I am still treated like shit. I am shunned. I am looked down upon. I am literally not respected, not acknowledged, and yet people that are my churches will use my name to siphon power. I'll let that power come back, and it'll be fire onto you, because I am so mad. Like, I don't want no bad to happen to anybody, but you know what? If I am literally the only one out here in these forums and these YouTube channels out in the public talking to people about myself, like, do you know how stupid I look? But yet I still do it? Because let me tell you something, if Yahweh was not in my flesh permanently, if I was not who I am, then I would be terrified. Number one, to speak my own name in such a way that I do, but two, to make myself look like some idiot, like that I'm some retard. No, I assure you, I have a more sound mind than every single human being on this planet. And for some Jewish leaders or some people who want to think I'm autistic, you are also, you're mean, you're evil, and you're an abomination, because I'm not autistic. That was taken severely out of context, and that was a long, long time ago. That was a very long time ago, and that was mainly because when I got my second DUI, and again, I don't drink because I won't ever forsake myself again. Whenever I tried to convince myself that I wasn't God, I wasn't Yahweh, I wasn't Yahuwah, I was just normal human being Josh, and I didn't use my power, I pretended that they weren't even there, I became a drunk. I became a full-blown alcoholic. I was drinking 18 to 25 beers a day. And then towards the end of it, I was drinking 25 plus beers a day, and then drinking vodka with it, because if I had missed just a couple of beers, I would begin to shake violently. All that stemmed from me being untrue to myself. And the only way out of that hellscape was I had to confess myself to myself in the mirror. The day I did that was the hardest day I've ever had to do, because that was a crossroad for me. I had to say, well, I'm about to trade this hell life of being an alcoholic, just a crappy human being in the gutter. But then I know that the moment I confessed myself to me, and it was true, and then I went upstairs, I got that confirmation in all its fullness, and then I began proving myself for over a year before I came out publicly, to make sure that I still wasn't crazy, and I wanted to make sure that I was fully recovered from alcoholism. Well, now I haven't drank in almost 4 years, but I assure you I'm a very, very sound mind. And when I went to my mental evaluation for my second DUI, I came in there telling her essentially what was about to happen, how it happened, why it went down, and I basically just gave her the entire spiel of what she was going to say to me. So she looked at me and was like, are you on the spectrum? And she said, have you ever heard of Asperger's? And I said, well, I'm aware that there are people that have Asperger's that's considered on the spectrum, and because they're really smart or really intuitive, or even they're savant type. Anyway, she said, yeah, that's right. She goes, have you ever been tested? I said, no, but I'll take your word for it. And so, honestly, from that point, back in 2009, no, that was the first. So 2012 was my second DUI. And then, from that point forward, if I wasn't in a position to open up about anything, I would really just chalk it up to say, hey, oh, you're really smart, or how do you know this, or how did you able to predict this, or basically all the weird stuff that happened with me. I would say, look, I've seen some doctors, they think I might have Asperger's, or they think I might have something like savant, and that was it. So for the Jewish leaders that think they're somehow doing me a service calling me autistic, you're an abomination and you're a sadist. And honestly, I told you, I don't want my heart to turn black. But honestly, I don't know how much more abuse I can get. It was better. It would have been better for me to be hoisted up on a cross again and to be mutilated and crucified, because at least within 24 to 48 hours, I knew my flesh would not have to undergo the torture of being on this planet. Every single one of you are putting me through a torture greater than that. I want you to know that. I want you to know that. This hurts more than crucifixion. So, I hope you all have a real good weekend, and I really hope that people can think about this and really, really either make a change or prepare for me to go away and never be heard of again. Because I don't know how much longer I can stay here and continue not fruiting anything for my kingdom. And I mean, and now I'm at a point where I'm being messed with by the government, and now I don't even have what little bit of, that's what I mean. We only had $1,200 in our checking account, and now it's frozen. According to that, it says it will be released. I'll check it again. It was the year 2099. Yeah, let's see. December 31st, 2099 is when it's available on. And mind you, I've only been unemployed since the October of last year. That's how long I've officially not paid child support for a child that I never wanted to give up, for a child that was never even legally removed from me. This was a child, Jacob, right? That my first wife didn't even want him, and I was trying to get him in daycare, and then she hung out with her little girlfriends, and then they got to talking, and they basically told her, well, you can get child support if you have the kid, and so she ripped him from my arms that day, and then I have not basically been able to see Jacob since then. Now he's 13. So again, the world and the way that this world and even my churches treat me, you guys are all about to go into one bucket. And I mean, I'm so tired of the fakeness. tired of the fakeness. I'm so tired of these people that have faith, and their faith is nothing more than a tagline, and their faith is about as deep as a thimble. They have no understanding of the truth. They think that their entire Jesus and their Bible is a Roman Greek origin God, and that God sent his only begotten Son. Really? Why don't you show me where that is in the Bible? It ain't there. And again, I don't want to hear Paul. Paul, honestly, I've said this, and I'll say it again. You could literally rip up that entire New Testament, because every single one of those pages are not what those people who you were claiming to quote their words, or you're claiming this, that's not what they said. No. That's not what they said. And let me ask you, why did your precious Roman beast burn all the Christian documents, what they were actually called the Nazarene documents, 200-300 years after Yeshua was crucified? They burnt all those documents. They rewrote them themselves. So